All right, y'all. Hello. I'm coming at you from the kitchen. I felt like talking or either listening, but I didn't find nobody that was live that I wanted to listen to. So I thought, well, why don't I come on here and talk and multitask while I load these dishes? So hello, good afternoon, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. You know, that's a really strong, heavily loaded title. And I got a lot to say on this subject. So get ready, because I got a lot of dishes to do and a lot of cleaning. I'm not going to stay here the whole time, but I just want to come and make my point to people about not getting wrapped up in social media influencers. Now, obviously, everybody is doing their own little spiritual work. Everybody has their own agenda. So even when you come and you listen to High Priestess Jamila, you have to use discernment and use your own discernment. Okay, social people in social media as influencers, they may have their own experiences, their own way of dealing with experiences. And when you get wrapped up in them and you start to believe everything they say as gospel, okay, for your own life, because as a high priestess witch, I can tell you that you can create your own life. And so I bring up Soncerae Smith because I want to make a point about her. And y'all know I'm always communing with my ancestors. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the obvious competition in social media with all women and men, the war, the controversy, and the negative feelings, the negative emotions, okay? Sorry, I'm cleaning off this damn thing. It's like, oh, okay. I am over here cleaning. Okay. That was bothering me right there. So social media influencers or social media people. I think that a lot of people, in particular people during this whole quarantine thing, you can go and you can get wrapped up in some kind of political thing or social thing, and you can take it as gospel and then take it and put it in your real life. And that's something that you can't do. Okay? You cannot ever allow any social media influencer, especially when they're coming from a very, very, very negative place. Okay, and the reason why I bring up Soncerae Smith is because I'm going to make a point about her because she has just recently came back up in social media. People are saying that she came back from the dead. But I'm going to tell you something. The ancestors don't really like her too much. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for her, but my own ancestors as well don't really like, some of the things that she has done. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. In fact, my own grandmother, who I was going to use my grandmother's picture in this particular hangout to show you that my grandmother is a caramel dark. My grandmother is pretty brown. She's pretty brown. She's very brown. Very sugar. My grandmother was a sugar baby. She's very brown, very pretty, very graceful. My grandmother was an amazing woman. Okay. and she's dark skinned. She never felt any type of way about herself. Hey, Chi-In, hello. She never felt any type of way about herself as a woman. And the way that she raised her children was the same way, was to love and accept themselves. So coming to social media and seeing so many people have a different experience and a more negative experience was really shocking. Even though I knew the whole thing, colorism and the darkism and all that stuff, like I knew it existed. So I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. However, that doesn't mean that it's supposed to be considered some kind of handicap or some kind of pass, or we're supposed to feel sorry. And my grandmother, who really compelled me to go live, she's the one that compelled me to go live and talk about this. My grandmother's not alive, just to let y'all know, but since I'm a medium, I gotta change over my dishwater. This dishwater, I gotta get some fresh. Hold on, y'all. Changing the dishwater. Y'all been over here cleaning my bathrooms and stuff, so today is a cleaning day for me until a little bit later, and I'm gonna get dressed and go live and handle some business, and I'm running out of time. So much time and energy wasted on crap and people and social media that are trying to influence people in certain ways. So the reason why we bring up, so let me just tell you about my grandmother first of all. My grandmother never had problems with being a dark-skinned woman. Never. She didn't have self-esteem issues behind it. She wasn't bitter about it. She enjoyed her life. My grandmother had a lot of people that loved her. And her family loved her. Her children loved her. Her grandchildren loved her. She had an amazing life. She never agreed with, colorism and feeling like you're less than because of the color of your skin. So there's a lot of people in social media that do have a problem with themselves. They do. And they influence certain groups of people to move a certain way in their plight or in their defense or whatever they feel. Okay. And so you yourself have to look at everyday real life. You have to look at your experiences in real life. And you have to think to yourself, I can't go too far in listening to this person in social media that may not be dealing with their issue very well emotionally. And none of us do. If you're going through, we all have our breaking points, okay? Everybody has had problems. Everybody has had issues. So we don't have to sit up here and pretend that, you know what I'm saying, that what I'm saying right now is not real. Okay. But when it comes to making life choices and lifelong decisions, you have to be careful which road that you take, because anytime you take the road of suffering and victim playing and codependency, then you're going to run into a lot of problems, because technically you can absolutely create your life the way that you want. And I think that sometimes social media influencers can tell you that if you're under a certain group or age or race, that this is what you have to look at. And you have to be careful with that, because when you look at real life is saying something different. Hey, whoever that is, yeah, sorry. I forgot I gotta pay attention to the chat. Yeah. Mm-mm. So, because we not even, yeah, that's silly. That's silly. We're talking about something totally different. So I won't be letting any trolls come in here. I know I'm doing dishes right now. I wish that some of my moderators was here because they'd be able to get rid of them weird people that come into the chat room talking about something totally different that I'm not even talking about. And you think you can come in here and troll my chat room and say queen and I'm gonna just fall for it. No. So, you need to get out of my chat with that because we're talking about something serious, okay? I'm trying to help people. I'm not trying to confuse people further the way you're doing. So the reason why I bring up Soncerae Smith is because the last video that Soncerae Smith did before she so-called died or killed herself, which I don't feel that she's dead, and so I didn't even take it seriously. No, I didn't go and do no psychic reading on it. No, I didn't, because, we all know what she represented as a woman. And it wasn't no freedom to be a woman. It didn't have nothing to do with divine femininity. To be honest with you, I'm not really a huge fan of hers. And the reason why I'm throwing shade at her is because she threw shade to all Black women. There's some social media influencers that are depressed. They are sad about their life, and they will come on here and they have made lifelong decisions to be bigots, to hate each other, to hate themselves. And they will come on here and they will influence people in real life. And that has nothing to do with what's going on or what's happening in real life. The last video that Soncerae Smith put up was the title was, and I quote, "Non-Black women represent success and Black women represent struggle." What's up, Orion's daughter? Now, also, there's a fundraiser on it. So basically, a lot of Black women thought, oh, Soncerae, she's so hurt. She's coming from a place of hurt. She's hurt. She's hurt. No, what she did was she told all you Black women to kiss her ass. That's what she did. She dissed her own people when she did that because she made an affirmation. She made a statement. Okay, and she knew and it only got like over 20,000 views because she supposedly died. Reason why my ancestors don't like her and they're speaking against her is because, first of all, that is not the truth. Second of all, if you are a Black woman and you represent struggle in a man's life, that's your problem. But what she did, what influencers like Soncerae Smith does, is she takes a subject and she exploits it. So she was basically exploiting Black women and she was big upping non-Black women. And then you notice that a few days later she was dead, supposedly. And people keep saying that they keep seeing her ghost come back. So what a lot of people tend to do when they're angry about their own life and they're distraught about it and they don't know which way to turn is they will turn on themselves. So saying disparaging statements about her own Black sisters was her way of fucking herself up. That's why she said, I killed myself. As a Black woman, I'm pathetic. I'm accepting defeat, is basically what she was doing. In this so-called non-existent war that really only exists in the minds of you women individually. That's where it existed, in her mind. Now, we all know that she was running around here having sex parties, doing all kind of weird stuff, going after these Black men that wasn't about nothing. Then she had a baby with a man. She was a horrible representative of Black women. She's an embarrassment, okay, to say the least. Ain't nobody saying nothing about her. See, she misrepresented the Black woman in being a hoe and in being the type of person that she was. Then when she went out, she basically said, fuck all you Black women. I feel that as a dark-skinned Black woman, I'm not being treated well when it's my very own fault because I decided to hook up with because I decided to do all these things to get attention that I should have had good enough sense to know not to do that. And so she called herself playing the same game of these so-called non-Black women, failed at it horribly and miserably, and then came back and said, I'm a pathetic Black woman, and this is how I'm going to represent, and this is my legacy. That's exactly what she did. This is one of the reasons why a lot of these ignorant Black men on here that go after Black women for white supremacy, this is one of the reasons why they were celebrating what happened, what so-called happened to her. Well, I can tell you this, all Black women ain't like that. All of us ain't weak-minded like that. And, to clump us all in one category sucks. I had a man call my phone. He was a Black man. He said, oh, we're going to Soncerae Smith you. Oh, I can guarantee you that you're going to get tired before I do. So in social media, we have actual real life racists. People think it's okay to be racist in social media, even against their own people. My grandmother has a problem with Soncerae Smith because she feels, and see, my grandmother had several light-skinned babies. Okay, my grandfather was a high yellow Black man that was mixed. And so my grandmother had like several light-skinned children and a lot of grandchildren. And I was one of them. She would have never looked at her grandchildren and felt competition with them. She would have never looked at her family like that. And you know what? I don't even think my grandmother would even know about what the hell is happening in social media if her granddaughter wasn't in social media. And it's very disturbing for her because she's looking at a lot of Black women and the Black women out there, even women older her age, that feel some type of way about other Black people and then using Black magic on each other. You know what I'm saying? And so my ancestors protect me from all that. So in social media has influenced Black women to not only compete with each other, and then also compete with white women. That's what social media is trying to do right now. 3 or 4 years ago, it was all about, darker skinned Black women bullying lighter skinned Black women, and this is actually what happened. And I believe that it was predicated upon by social media unearthing negative emotions in people, and maybe those people didn't have in real life what was supposed to balance them out emotionally. So then we had people attacking each other in social media, which made no fucking sense, adding more struggle to your life. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody that's struggling chooses to struggle. What the hell does a Black woman have to do with that, Soncerae Smith? What did Black women do to you, Soncerae Smith? Soncerae Smith is supposed to be a Black woman, and she has a problem with Black women. She said Black women represent struggle to her. You hear what I'm saying? So this is a Black woman that threw her sisters under the bus. Y'all didn't notice that? She's a very sick individual. That's a sick individual. Just in case y'all didn't realize that. And Here's the whole thing about it is that when your heart is right, all of the ancestors protect you. All of them do. I work with the African ancestors, the ancient Egyptian ancestors, and I also work with my Greek ancestors, my Irish ancestors. So it don't matter if you black or white, the ancestors is gonna protect you. The deities are gonna protect you, especially when you're showing appreciation. So we don't understand what that means over here. We don't have that same problem. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't ever come. You know what? I have had some black men do some pretty horrible things to me in social media. But guess what? Every single day before I turn on my camera and before I even start speaking negatively about black men, I have to think about in real life how many of these black men picked me off the side of the fucking road. How many of them saved me when my car was broke down in the middle of the road? How many of them fixed my cars for free? How many of them went and did things for me, did nice things for me? So that's stupid for me to get wrapped up in social media and say, oh, somebody did something in social media, so I'm just going to say, fuck the black man, because I see all these black social media influencers. Well, you got to think about how limited a person's mind must be, because you know that there's millions of black men in this world. You thought that there was only about 10 black men that ever existed, that ever was. So you're going to condemn all black people, and this is coming from social media influencers, and these are people that obviously have a low opinion of their own life, so then they come and they spew it in social media. So this is the reason why I am very careful, because it is actually bad for business. For me to talk about certain things like narcs, and then sometimes with a grain of sugar, the black struggle, I don't really focus on that, because the black struggle is your spiritual struggle. When you as a black person learn your spiritual identity and yourself, then the rest will follow. So for me, I can't be involved in all of that stuff, and I'm all about my business. That's why, I'm going to talk about this, but I'm just going to state my position on the whole situation, on the real. That's why I've always had the capability to have darker skinned black friends and lighter skin. There's no difference. Back in ancient Egypt, they were multicolored. Black people were multicolored back then, too. A lot of people think that black people can't naturally be born with fair skin. Well, why is it that Indian people can naturally be born with fair skin? Why is it that Mexican people, Cuban people, there's some Cuban people that are very, very, very dark. So you would have to be ignorant to say, oh, well, you white and somebody that's why that's the only black people supposed to be black and dark, and that's the true black person. And it's just like, come on. This is stupid. That's why I come on here and show my nappy hair, my kinky coily hair every now and then, to remind you of who I am and what my roots are. Okay? Because at the end of the day, a lot of black people think, oh, well, the only reason why there's some light-skinned black people is because they have a white father or because of something else. That's ignorance, because that's not true. So from the beginning out the gates, when we were in Africa, there were lighter skinned black people that existed in ancient African history. And they were not just fucking albinos. Albino is somebody that don't have any pigment to their hair or their skin. So why would black people still be going through colorism? Is it because you're in the South? That's no excuse. You're being influenced by social media. And I understand the dark-skinned black woman and her being hurt by a lot of things that Tommy Soncerae did. And just recently, this other black food that basically put a picture of a black woman up and basically roasted her for being dark-skinned. I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid. You got to be an idiot to do some stuff like that. Well, those are ignorant people, Ryan's daughter. Those are ignorant people, but you know that all black people are not ignorant like that. You know, there's a code when it comes to that. When it comes to some black people, some people don't have that in them, but some people do. And I think that this whole thing, this whole struggle, you know, and then see, we also see, you know, black women competing against other black women in social media. And I guess that's just a female competition thing, I guess. I don't really see them as getting anywhere though, because I don't compete against nobody on here. I didn't get nowhere competing with nobody, and I'm not going to get any further competing with nobody. I am my own person. I don't need to identify with anybody else. And to be honest with you, I do want to take that DNA test, but it's at the end of the day, we all know that race really doesn't mean anything when it comes to morals and when it comes to self-respect. So you think I would ever put up a video in social media making that statement about black women and then faking my own death? That would be just like Tupac doing the same thing. You know, even though Tupac prophesies a lot of what we see in social media, in real life, you guys, you know, there's no black man, you know, going live and saying, "Oh, look at this black, oh, she's so black, she's so black." Nobody does that. Okay. That only exists in social media if you watch it. You can always unsub from those channels. You don't have to watch that. Those things are being said by hurt people that want to hurt other people. And that's why I brought up Soncerae Smith today. Because she is a hurt person that wanted to hurt other black women. Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you that usually a successful black person is not going to be playing victim and saying, "Oh, you know, you know, we do know that there are people that will try to use white supremacy against people. We all know where they're going to end up. We all know how things are going to end for them, and it's not going to end well because the ancestors don't like it. They want you to be proud of being a black person. They don't want you to be running around here degrading your own people or degrading yourself by degrading somebody else. They want you to have some kind of standards or set some kind of standards about yourself is what they want you to do. Now, I understand that a black person can really, really piss you off. I've had black people really, really piss me off, even in real life, but never until I got involved in the social media crap did it ever become to where I wanted to get violent. Never, like never in my life. And I'm keeping it real with you. I have been dealing with black people my whole life. Yes, there have been incidences where I may have gotten into a physical altercation with other blacks, not too often. I've never really had that happen to me. Thank the goddess. But, you know, it seems like, you know, people are starting stuff with people and people are trying to facilitate black people to fight each other. That's another thing. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, does it? But that's what's happening. And for me personally, I can't allow somebody in social media to persuade me to go down that road because I have a family that I love. I have a life. I have a future. I'm not going to die over social media. So please be careful with that, you guys. Please be careful. If you're being bullied and you're thinking about suicide, contact somebody. I know that there's a lot of people right now that are being spiritually abused. People sending out spirits on people. You know, people looking at people in social media, deciding that they come from a certain group that they don't like, and then thinking that they have the right to attack them. Okay, so we see that happening a lot. Okay, if you're right with your ancestors, you'll be fine. There's no need to be afraid. A lot of those people that are doing things like that, the ancestors is destroying them from the inside out totally. It's okay for you to make choices and decisions for your own life, and for you to come to social media, and then also think about all of the kids that watch us in social media. There's kids watching us. Hey, Jen, Goddess of Light, how you doing, sweetie? So our children are learning from us. We all know that at the end of the day, there were a lot of people that actually hated Black women and came to social media and showed their hatred for Black women. They did. They showed it, their hatred for Black women. Our children were dumb bastards and every damn thing else, you know? Nobody cares about them. You know, then we're gonna come out with a campaign that says, you know, Black lives have to matter. And I don't think anybody ever questioned that before. I don't understand it. But we all know that we were definitely living in racist times. We were, and I had found out that, you know, people were trying to have me killed by the police. The hatred was so deep for these people. Hey, Rosemary and Sage. So basically, supposedly Soncerae Smith killed herself. Okay, after she has this social media meltdown. And I'm saying to Black women, especially young Black girls, you can't be weak minded like that. She is not an idol that you want to emulate. Not to say that, you know, maybe perhaps, now I'm not saying that we have to condemn her. I don't believe in condemnation. I don't believe in that. Because she's never done anything to me personally, but the very blanket statement that she made and the legacy that she left to YouTube was very unfair. And so the Black women in social media, if Black women are referring to each other in such a negative way, how can you blame Black men for doing it? How can you blame them for doing it? How can you blame them for, you know, for not thinking, you know, because I mean, we do need men, but we don't need men to have self-esteem. That's supposed to be something you're supposed to have on your own. I understand that that's a hot topic, I guess. I don't know why we make it a hot topic. I think as soon as we stop making that a hot topic, you know, then we'll probably start to get somewhere and have some peace and quiet. Okay, I just started my dishwasher. I loaded the hell out of that dishwasher, y'all. In fact, I might make a small video to show you guys how to do it. Okay, I loaded this dishwasher good because every dish was dirty. All of them was, every plate, every spoon, every fork, every cup. So that dishwasher is filled, okay? And I still got some dishes in the sink. I'm gonna wash these little dishes up real quick and then get this house cleaned up. I'll try to go live a little bit later. Yeah, dark skin. That's what my grandmother is saying. You know, my grandmother was extremely successful in life. She was the first female black supervisor that worked for the post office. This was back in the freaking, what, 90s or the 80s. Okay, when my grandmother, she retired from the post office and she started her own business as a cosmetologist. My grandmother had an entire hair salon in her basement, in the basement of her house. Okay, dryers. She had about 5 of them. I think she had like 4 of the sit under hooded dryers. She had her whole center, her, you know, she had a regular thing in there. She had mirrors all down there. You know, my grandmother was very successful. And she's like, well, if these people just automatically go out into the world and think they're going to fail, then they're going to fail. And how can you allow, like, first of all, dark skin is not nothing to be ashamed of. So the struggle comes where you feel that your dark skin is the struggle. And where did you get that from? Either school or social media. Somebody in school said something to you. You know, things were very different for my grandmother growing up. I can imagine that probably Black people were a little bit more loyal to each other back then when they was really going through the struggle. So, you know, y'all got to think about our grandmother's lifetime and what they saw growing up, which is very, very different from our parents, by the way. That's why our parents, that's why we have so many challenges with it. Okay. That's why you see parents like my parents' age trying to use white supremacy against their own children. And my grandmother don't like that either. But we ain't talking about my family problems. Because to be honest with you, it's what's the point in talking about it? It's pretty standard, unfortunately. Got to be careful about who you speak to in social media and who you listen to. Because then their reality sort of becomes this fake reality and you take it out into the real world and you think this is real, but it's actually not. I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of Black women out there that probably had a white woman or either a light skinned woman that I guess they were competing for. I guess, you know, that has happened. But, you know, in real life, Black men are not walking up to Black women, you know, cussing them out and just raging and warful against them. But you know, they will if you carry that crap around with you. If you're carrying social media crap, that would be just like, you know, if I had some crap like that going down and I came on here and I was just stupid and thoughtless and I hate Black men forever. Oh, I'm gonna kill them. And, you know, that would be stupid because I'm allowing something fake in social media to make me make affirmations of life. Now, I'd say, listen, the real deal. You believe that Soncerae Smith is dead? Have they ever released her obituaries? Because unless I see an obituary, I don't believe that. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that she was bullied off of social media today. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Very mysterious. The fact that she didn't post a suicide note beforehand, but she posted one after, claiming to be dead, claiming that she committed suicide, and then did a GoFundMe. I think it was a death scam. Okay, unless I saw her obituary, it's kind of mysterious, especially with the last video that she had put up on her channel. It was obvious that she was very, very disturbed, okay, and probably didn't even need to be in social media to have those kind of problems. Okay, vloggers that come on here and they're talking about, you know, especially if you're white, you don't, when was the last time you saw a white person turn on their camera and say, you know, these people are doing this because they're white? No, they'll say this person is ignorant. It's a white person and they're attacking me. But black people make it all about slavery and oh Lord, no, it's a black person that you don't get along with and you may not like them. So, she was trying to make it all about the black struggle when in reality in social media, black people create struggle for themselves, is what I am saying. Which is, whatever it is that you would consider to be a struggle for a person. This is one of the reasons why I don't come on here and talk about certain things anymore, because those things would just create struggle for me. So we're not going to be talking about that no more on this channel. If you come in here talking about it, I'm going to block you. Okay? There's certain things that we're not going to be discussing. Things that were being done that was supposed to ruin my career, leave me and my children in the poorhouse. But why, as a woman, I'm not going to be dumb enough to continue to go through that. I'm going to, check myself and get myself under control, in those circumstances. For real. I think a lot of other people should do that because, I think that black people, they start channels. First of all, when you start channels and you're talking about the black struggle, you have a 50% chance of making it. Now, if you're speaking from a logical perspective on the subject, then you may have a good chance, but I still think that for years and years, black people in slavery has been exploited by people like Oprah Winfrey, and I'm through with Oprah Winfrey. I'm kind of through with her. She's on my cancel list. That's just like a person allowing their life to be the movie The Color Purple. Why would you allow that? Like, you realize that you have the power to make your life better and to make your life different. Please believe that it don't matter what color your skin is, there's always somebody out there that is going to love you and appreciate you. Focus on those people that love you and appreciate you. Don't focus on the people that are, on here, I'm upset. Trust me, I know what you've been through. I've been through a lot in my life, and I choose to wipe the slate clean and make my life the way that I want it to be. Coming to social media and joining some kind of group just means weakness. I'm going to join a group of people that are speaking from a hurt emotional place, and they're not even speaking logically or intelligently. They're just all in their feelings every day, all day, with no purpose. That's why I decided, because at first I was a blogger. I blogged my family. I had a channel up, it was growing. But then I said, hey, I'm gonna step it up. I'm gonna go ahead and start my business. And everybody and their mama came after me, and it just didn't make no sense to me. It didn't. It didn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you right, Orion's daughter. You're right. But I still think that as black people, we can't just sit up here and say, oh, because if you notice, whenever we speak about white supremacy, from my standpoint, you got white supremacists on here, including black people who are I guess they're trying to get into the KKK, I'm not sure. They'll come on here and they'll make another black person regret ever, big upping them or, saying, hey, I don't have a problem with my own people. They always contrive something. There's always something done because they don't want black, and that's ridiculous. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a shit about what any of these people want. I'm gonna live my life. And I think that a lot of people have allowed social media to make them view their view of creating their own world. No, what it is that those people have an opinion. They have an opinion, and that is it. It goes no further than that. You let people have their own opinion and you have your own, especially about yourself. You know, that way we won't have certain things like that happen. Now, the unity between women, it can be pretty bad, but I can tell you something. I have way too many black women that support my business for me to even say that. That's why for years and years I didn't trip off of, you know, stuff like that that was happening, because I'm like, hell, I am 95% supported by Black women. They're the ones that come and pay me for my services, my cleansings, my hex removers, you know. So I have a very good relationship with the Black woman. I don't have a bad relationship with the Black woman to where I'm gonna come and say to her, you represent struggle. What? What if a black person walked up to you and said that on the street? See, that's what people in social media don't realize what they're saying when they say it. What if somebody walked up to you on the streets and said the title of Soncerae's last video? What if they did that? What if they walked up to you and said, non-black women represent success and black women represent struggle? You're probably gonna be ready to fight that person or say, you know what, you're a bigot. You're gonna say you're a bigot. So I feel that what she did was very bigoted. Okay, and you know, because I know that she was trying to get attention from the title, but look at the kind of attention that she's trying to get. And I don't agree with that. I don't believe it has anything to do with the color of skin. I disagree with that. I have talked to all races of women, and I can promise you that no, black women have more worth and value than that, Soncerae Smith. That I'm just saying. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. The black women that I deal with, they do take accountability. They do. They even take accountability for other people. They're even taking accountability for other people. They handling their business. The only struggle is the prejudices and the stigmatizations that we see in social media, which don't exist in real life. Okay. So we've seen the fact that there are some people that will project their own stuff, and black woman has always felt like a scapegoat. But in real life, guys, I didn't have all these problems. It's just when you start to listen to other people in social media and what they have to say. Otherwise, your life that's around you, you know, am I going to sit here and take this for granted? You know, the gifts that my spirits have given to me, they want you to enjoy it. So if you are a black person that's worked hard for what you got and you obtained it, then now it's time for you to enjoy it, right? Dresito Santos says, can I do a question? If you're talking about a tarot question, honey, if you're talking about a tarot question, not right now because I'm in the kitchen and I'm cleaning up. I'm actually almost done. I'm cooking salmon for dinner tonight, y'all. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be delicioso. Lemon, garlic, lemon butter salmon is what I'm cooking tonight. And of course, I'm gonna make some hollandaise sauce. So well, I guess you could say it wouldn't be grilled, it would be baked. So I'm gonna bake it. So, so I'm getting my kitchen cleaned up so that I can cook in a few hours. But what I wanted to say to black women is to not allow that cloud to be over your head. And don't ever think that I'm against black women or white women. The racial tension that was created by people that have nothing else to talk about except for that. To be honest with you, I am above all that. Okay, I'm above all of those things. I care about all people of all races. If you my family or you my friend, I don't care what race you are. Hey, now I'm gonna be kind of looking at you side-eyed if you're just running around here in America creating problems or trying to create problems for Black people. You know, but not too many people do things like that. Okay, that would have to be somebody against you with a vendetta. So, you know, I've seen people try to get back at you because of some stupid vendetta that doesn't do them or their children any good. As women, we can't be acting like silly children in social media because our children are watching our behavior. Okay. So y'all gotta call my daughter back. She called me 2 minutes ago. Told her to text me information, but I guess she forgot. So here's the deal with all of that. I'm gonna make my point and then I'm gonna go because I gotta take care of some other business. You cannot come out here in social media and assume that you're going to lose because of your color of skin. If you have a talent in something, whether or not it's singing, dancing, rapping, cooking, as a Black person, you have the opportunity because people are going to be looking at you. That's a very limited crowd that's doing that other stuff. Most people don't care, you know, what the race is. To be honest, this is the reason why you got more white people listening to Black music than anything. And Black people listen to white people music too. It's well, not all Black people. I know I listen to white music sometimes, you know. So whatever your talent is, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, you don't have to feel less than just because you're Black. And for you to feel that way, you know, where that came from, until you let that go and say, I'm going to live life, but I'm going to keep my guard up and I'm going to make sure that I'm protected and that I'm protecting myself spiritually, physically, and mentally, then you'll be okay. And trust me, I know, because I have had people trying to bully me off of YouTube, and I'm not about to let somebody, you know, destroy my business. That's why there's certain things that I will not be discussing, because it doesn't make any sense for me to do that. But if I do discuss it, that don't mean that it's gonna hurt me necessarily. You know, it just means that I'm wasting my time and my energy on something that don't matter. You know, which is other people's silly opinions and other people's words and other people's plight that they're on. Because there's some people that don't know how to look good without trying to make somebody else look bad. The reason why is because if you gotta always make somebody else look bad to make yourself look good, what that means is that you ain't looking too good. And we all know that that's what that is what we have been experiencing more than anything in social media, is people trying to clout chase off of people and, you know, spread lies about them, and, you know, just it's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous. I just want to understand what makes judgmental folks experts on other people's lives. It's just not right, Queen. It's like they can't speak for the world. No, they can't, because I've been through a lot with all races of people, and I judge people based upon their individuality. So, you know, that whole racial tension thing, influencers that are saying things like that are trying to create racial tension. whatever reason, if somebody is on a plight to be a new Black Panther and you have a family that you support and you just want to live life, enjoy life, buy swing sets for your kids and trampolines and stuff, you can do that. But I mean, they're not able to live real life because they're constantly focused on this negativity of what people are saying in social media. These are people in social media. So, a person can come on social media and say, hey, I don't think that you should do this or do that. Or are you going to just go, hey, you're right, I'm not going to do that? Well, that's like a blanket term. That's just like somebody come on here and say, I don't think you should date Black women. I don't think you should date Black men. I don't think that you should, whatever it is that they tell you to do. You have to decide what is best for you. And you can't sit up here and say, oh, well, I'm going to judge this based upon other influencers in social media. That's a big mistake as well. They're not, you're right, Orion's daughter, you're right. And right now I'm making business moves because I want to let people know that I ain't into all that. I am a businesswoman. I'm also a friend, a very good friend to people. People screw me over. I'm so good to them that they screw me over for some reason. Ain't that crazy? So, I know how folks can be. Okay. But but those are my clients. My clients are my friends. I've got Italian clients, I've got Puerto Rican clients and Black. I've actually had a couple of Asian clients too. So I've had clients of all races, and the last thing that I need is to be in social media fighting another white person over white supremacy. That would be stupid. That would be me creating struggle for myself. Because why would I do that? For what? I'm above all that. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. Ryan's daughter said you're an angel. But so I'm pretty neutral. I'm like Switzerland when it comes to that. I am here to get business transactions between people that need spiritual work. There's people that need invocations. There's people that, need my gifts and my skills for them. And the other stuff that people get paid for in social media, Jamila gets paid to do spells and potions and rituals for people and readings. Okay, that's how I support my family. It would make no sense for me to get involved in a situation to where I'm going against somebody else, especially when it comes to that whole racism kick. I'm completely out of that because that ain't done nothing for Black people. And our ancestors, they support it like they do, because when I call on my African ancestors, they handle shit for me. So the ancestors will help. But if you consistently keep chasing that ghost, after a while, they're gonna say, hey man, it's time for you to, like, what's the point in me helping you or doing things for you? And you're just chasing the same, pain, or just the same thing that's gonna, consistently take your attention away from what is important. And then also your energy. Y'all gotta be careful because there's energy vampires on YouTube. A lot of them, a lot more than what you think. And it's not that they necessarily need your wisdom, but these people are actual, real, factual energy vampires. Okay. And a lot of them are using, a lot of the energy vampires, they do cloud chase and make videos about them. Okay, so if 9 times out of 10, if that's how you started your channel, that's something, that's a legacy that you can't necessarily, unless you start making some kind of changes, if that's, what for example, people like Tasha K, she got, I don't even know what happened with her lawsuit with Cardi B, but Cardi B was really upset at Tasha K, because of the things that she was saying about her, you know, and so, and Tasha K has a right to her own opinion as far as the things that, Cardi B has said in social media, in particular, the disparaging remarks that she said about Black women. Again, she's human too, because we all know how sometimes the Black community can act over light skin or non-Black women. You know what I'm saying? So, and they were saying that she's a culture appropriator and stuff like that. And everybody, again, people have the right to their own opinion when it comes to that. But I personally think that, anybody has the right to be a rapper. I personally don't really take Cardi B as being a culture appropriator because, I don't really even listen to her music a whole lot. I liked Bodak Yellow, but the whole WAP thing is okay. Yeah, we all have human anatomy. So that's not my bag. Okay, just to let y'all know, her music is not necessarily my cup of tea. Y'all notice I listen to a lot of oldies, I listen to a lot of R&B, I listen to rock music, I listen to R&B, and I listen to rap. So, and that's not hating on Cardi B at all. It's just saying that I don't know whose culture she's appropriating, but it ain't necessarily mine. So if Black women want to take it as Cardi B taking their personification or taking their, selves from them, then, perhaps you need to get a much higher opinion of yourself. But what I will say about Cardi B is that she probably had somewhat of a hard life, and speaking from that lifestyle and her point of view, there's a lot of women that can relate to her. So I don't judge those women. Okay. And they say that, she's getting ready to divorce that man again. So, I personally, the whole public relationship type of, thing, I'm not for all that. And then also, you just never know with, these marriages in Hollywood. So that's why I don't really get into stuff like that. I don't really take it like it's of any importance to me. And, then again, people that are famous like that, these are people that you don't know personally. Okay, and so it really shouldn't matter. But as far as the way social media is influencing people in their real lives, you don't want to come to social media and become prejudiced and go out there into the world, and you've got all these weird ideas that you picked up from social media, and people gonna be looking at you like, is this person crazy? What the hell are they talking about? What, where you get that from? Soncerae Smith? You ever see you gonna see a little kid walking around saying, if a little kid walked up to you and said, non-Black women represent success and Black women represent struggle, you're gonna be like, where did little girl get that from? What the hell? So, yeah. Well, you know what, Ryan's daughter, you know, I know that for me, this was my way of breaking out and doing my thing, and folks was hating on me, but to be like I said, I don't care what race you are. Somebody put that work on somebody, or do some good enough work for you. then those are things that you don't have to worry about, because you know what? Those things are unfair. That puts you in an unfair world where you're being judged. And I've noticed that social media is more willing. There's a lot of willing participants in believing the lies that are said about Black women. They will believe it. They will repeat it. And you be looking at them like, you can say it 50, 11 times if you want, honey. Don't make it true. And what do? You make sure that that crap does not affect your real life. Okay? You make sure that it doesn't, because a few weeks ago it was, oh, y'all don't even want to know. Y'all don't even want to know. So this is one of the reasons why today on the new moon, happy new moon, we ain't going there no more. I don't want to talk about it. Don't come back to my chat room talking about nothing that don't have nothing to do with me and my real life and my children and my business. The name of my company is Divine Services. We are listed as a legitimate company. And I don't have anything to do with that. My business is open and neutral. I do work for all races of people. Okay. And, you know, for me right now, what I'm focusing on is making sure that I'm staying productive. You know, that's why I've been doing this cleaning and stuff. And I ordered a candle for the altar. Guys, don't forget on money work down. I've, I've used different variations, but brown is a really good color to use for your money, your wealth. In fact, today, I don't care what race or color you are, or where you're from. You know, we're going to do a demonstration of doing a law of attraction spell. So that's what it's all about. I don't care if you are dark, light, whatever color you are, of whatever race. It's your energy and vibration. And, you know, being Black doesn't automatically mean that your energies and vibrations have to be bad. So whatever you are vibrating, that is what you're going to attract to yourself, right? Hello, too blessed to fall. Hello, sweetie. So just work on that and everything else will follow, you know. And I've been saying this for years. I've never changed my stance. Okay, I allowed myself to get caught up in social media emotions to where I think we all have. But for me personally, I don't believe I have ever, I think I've insulted just about everybody. So matter what race you are, I've been a, you know what I'm saying? If you don't piss me off or something, I may have, you know, said something, but personally, this is not the way that I would like to be, because I personally feel that I was born to bring peace into this world. You know, and that ain't where we're gonna find peace, because there's no winning in that game. It's a fight. It's an argument that is nobody's ever going to be the winner of that argument. That's a losing battle for all participants. It is, and it will always be, and every ancestor will make sure of it. And I know it for a fact. I am a Black woman that works with the goddess Hecate. Hecate is a Greek goddess. Okay, she's a Greek goddess. So that's not Black. But then again, I do work with Black ancestors. Every now and then I work with Isis. You know, and Isis and all of them, they're considered, you know, Ra and a lot of the ancient Egyptian gods, you know, they are considered to be of African ancestry. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, no, they're not. Oh, they're Egyptian. Don't call them African or whatever. It's like, well, whatever. Okay, it doesn't even matter to me. As long as they are helping me and I'm benefiting from their energies, I just want to have a glass of wine and relax and have, I think I'm gonna order some pineapples too, y'all. I'm in the mood to have some pineapple. So I gotta go because it is, oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. It's 4:47. I gotta go. I'm about to run out of time. I'm sitting up here running my mouth and I gotta take care of something. I want to get me some pineapples too and some more tropical fruit to put on the altar. So I gotta go, you guys. I hope that y'all enjoyed this conversation and y'all kind of understood where I was coming from. You know, maybe you need to meditate on it so you kind of see what the heck I'm talking about. But, you know, I am constantly encouraging Black women and white women and all races of women and men to love themselves because you know what? When you love yourself, you're going to show more love to the world when you love yourself. So that's why it's important to have self love. Otherwise, you know, you'll get what you're getting, you know, and you'll say some of the things that you're saying, not realizing what you're saying. And you'll probably look back, which it's all a part of the journey. But I personally, I'm ready to get there now. But I gotta go, guys. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I love you guys. Love and light. I will see y'all later. Have a wonderful Thursday. Okay. Okay. I'll see y'all later. Love and light.